filmmaker Sebastian Lelio, who made A Fantastic Woman, revisits his 2013 film Gloria, in which I think Paulina Garcia played middle-aged divorcee looking for love in the singles bars of San Diego. So the story has been transported in pretty much wholesale to America, and now we have Julianne Moore as Gloria Bell, which is the new central character. She's a restless soul who, again, is looking for love in singles bars. Probably there's a song, isn't there? Looking for love in all the wrong places. And she hooks up with a character played by John Turturro called Arnold. She meets him at a singles bar. It's singles bars in which they dance to what are now very sort of old retro dance records, with the kind of records that I grew up with. And she thinks he seems really nice and very intense, but he keeps answering his phone and talking to another woman. And she says, "Well, what do you do? I thought you were divorced." He says, "Yes, I am, but my daughters, well, they're still daughters. They're grown up, but they still they rely on me all the time." So basically, he is kind of still committed to the family that he has apparently left behind, while she is looking to move on. And then she takes him to meet her extended family, and he walks out.
What are you doing here?
Can we talk?
I don't have anything to say to you.
I really need you to listen to me. I do.
How could you be so rude, Arnold?
For what?
I was introducing you to my family. I brought you to my son's birthday party, and you had the nerve to just disappear?
It wasn't an easy situation.
Really?
I searched for your eyes again and again. I didn't exist. We were in love.
Oh, please.
We were in love.
He didn't.
How many times did he have
wrong.
to say that?
He was.
It made me sick. I threw up. I don't know how you could do something like that to me. And the girl's cold, so.
Grow a pair.
There are two great performances, even without seeing them. You can hear. I mean, you're hearing John Turturro's voice. How could you do that to me? I mean, and there is a thing with John Turturro, and I think it goes back to Barton Fink, which is that there is a sort of quality to him which is somewhere between needy but also desperately, not to him, but to some of the characters that he plays. I'm sure he's lovely, but there's a kind of weird thing about neediness, which is also completely narcissistic and self-absorbed. And there's no question that Julianne Moore is a very commanding screen presence, and there are things that she gets exactly right about the character's predicament. You see through through a sort of facial expressions the lack of intimacy with her own family and with her own children, the determination to keep searching for fulfillment. It's that thing about, I'm looking for something at the bottom of a glass. I'm sure if I keep looking, I'll find it. And she has a way of smiling that suggests that the smile is a brave face behind which is a barely suppressed scream. And all that is going on, I think, is nicely observed, and I think Sebastian Lelio is a very good filmmaker. Also, plaudits to her for the out-of-date dancing, which is done brilliantly, because there's one thing which is more difficult than dancing well on screen, and that's dancing badly on screen on purpose. Because when she's at the sort of singles clubs and things, she's dancing in that kind of disco way that people of my age would dance. Lots of hands in the air, lots of
elbows.
John Turturro doing the overbite, all that sort of stuff. A lot of elbows, a lot of gesturing and acting the song out.
Acting the song out.
No, when there are lines that people kind of
people.
So there's a lot of that going on. I think that's done rather brilliantly. And as I said, I think that Turturro does a really good job of walking that line between needy, creepy. My reservation is that if you've seen the original, you may think, okay, well, I'm not entirely sure what this is bringing that's new to the party. There is a slightly different feel to the film. It's slightly warmer and slightly fuzzier than before. And actually, of course, the point is that a large proportion of the audience won't have seen it. And so I think if you see it as a first movie, then it's perfectly fine. I think if you've seen the original, you may feel like it is simply retreading old ground. As I said, there is a slight tonal difference, but I am a big fan of Julianne Moore, and I think that when she's at her best, it is that thing about being able to suggest through, and we'll come back to this in the program actually in relation to another film that's coming up, in being able to suggest through stance and through what you don't say, what it is that your character is thinking and enduring. And there is a particular scene in which she's with, who's her son, who is going through his own kind of crisis, in which there is a look on her face which is the very definition of a fleeting moment of panic. And it's really, really well observed. So it's a good character study, but it is something that you may have seen before.